going on. Mark 8:36. What will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? And this is, I think, a really great question, because our soul, is that the spirit that we try to pass on to future generations? And I got to ask, can we really know ourselves and our soul without a regular self-examination? And I think that's one of the reasons that we may have a confession in some religions. Now, also, when people are overbearing, like parents that are overbearing, forcing children to believe certain things that maybe the kids got a lot of questions about, does that really, can that affect a child from becoming his or herself? Now, so in other words, I'm also asking then, the king, the dictator, any of these people who impose their will upon you or treat you, how does that influence our finding our own individual souls or finding God within us? And of course, you know, an ad man tries to influence our behavior, whereas the lobbyist, when he goes down to Washington, he's trying to force through legislation that you buy his product, his BS. And so, you know, I really think that there's plenty of instances where the guy, people wanting license from government to do this, that, and the other thing, like when they privatize services, like the prison I talked about. Does the for-profit private sector need to be regulated? I think they do. I mean, just take a look at the state of the environment. And by the way, I thought Bonfire of Vanity was a lot of fun. So I thank that Hollywood for that effort. Now, here we go, Matthew 22:37-40. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first great commandment. And the second, love your neighbor as yourself. So as a young man, I was terribly confused by this. I was told that I was had to love a punishing God. But you know, over the years, I've learned a little bit, and typically, I have found a happiness and a peace by accepting what I truly believe and actually communicating with others. So I think in this first great commandment is that you love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. It really means you should be happy being who you are. Now, for me, that required some integrity, or to develop some. You know, I had to cut my BS when I was always right and all the rest of this stuff. So that right there is a tremendous blessing, and may even be supportive of, was it Socrates who said, a life unexamined is not worth living? Well, the idea is by taking a good look at ourselves, can we become better people? Well, I think if we go for principled behavior, well, doesn't mean we're always going to be right, but at least we can be comfortable trying to. So, really, the freedom of religion, I have to ask, does that it really afford everyone, an opportunity to be themselves and be happy? And I think I'm very sure that the founding fathers, rather than talking about any particular religion, they talked about the spirit of the universe. Now, this thing, so love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I think then a question could be, do you really care? And I'm going to say I have to believe that we are charged with really caring. Um, so, continuing onward, we're going to pause there. Well, continuing on, so here we are. I believe we got the golden rule pretty much here. So in everything, do to others as you would have them do unto you. And I guess, well, that's pretty straightforward. And I think anyone saying the golden rule is the guy with the gold rules is probably a pretty sad character. Now, but there's something additional here. So, in other words, if we want to be treated well, we should treat others, fairly. We should be empathetic, consider the feelings and situations of others. At least that's what I believe a loving God tries to tell us. Now, simply when it comes to injustice, I think a fair question is, does injustice invite injustice? And I think that it does. I talk to anybody with a street mentality. If anybody screws them, they'll tell you they're going to screw them right back. All right, well, fine. But now there could also be, though, a question of does the aggrieved actually have a responsibility to seek justice? Now, I think we've all heard about Jesus or the Bible talking about turn the other cheek, but we also hear things like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So, there can be quite a lot of room for interpretation or debate here. But I really must say, if someone does wrong to you and nobody helps, you can't get justice, how would you feel? Now, how about if someone does a wrong to a neighbor? I mean, something clearly wrong. The child molester, the predator, stuff they do to kids. How about the bigotry just because of the color of someone's skin or the religion they identify with that they're discriminated against? Is it okay to let that go? I tell you what, if you think that that's okay, then I think that really what we've done is we've just given a license uh, to a sicko, a sick creature, uh, a child molester, a predator, a grifter, a fraudster, the crook, the liar, the cheat, to do the same, to you. So you're giving them license to continue with that behavior if you don't do anything about it. So, and this is why I think we always have a responsibility, especially myself as a registered Republican, that who's a little bit law and order friendly, because I expect when I pay taxes to get something out of government and government services, I expect to be treated fairly in the administration of whatever rules the town may have or government may have. Uh, Same thing, even let's say with the speed limit. Well, whatever. Let's continue on. We can go on and on about that, but you know, we should see. I believe we should seek justice. That could be a part of the world that God has given us. Now, and the golden rule, I think if we read this a little bitty, and uh, uh, I have to thank Encyclopedia Britannica. I'm sure you can find it elsewhere. And they run through a number of religions, but not just the religions, but the great philosophers. And we know the great, our founding fathers studied these philosophers. And they pretty much, understood that if we grant others human rights, if we're empathetic, considerate of others, uh, rather than greedy, selfish, inconsiderate, mean, all that nonsense, that we're going to have like a better world. And I think that developing an awareness of, human history and the world's great philosophers uh, could be very helpful to each and every human being, because sometimes people who have not been exposed to the benefits, the knowledge, the history of a liberal arts education, too often in rough times they just don't know any better. And I think that's a sad case, and ultimately we all pay the price. I mean, let's face it, we got a guy running around now with some kind of emotional and spiritual problems, all the anger, lies, uh, the nonsense, lives for his ego. But that's, uh, I think I could make a real case for that. I believe that more of that's going to be coming out as we go down the road.